Hi, welcome to Dark Politics Tarot. My name is Nick, and I want to ask the cards today, what will happen with Krampus, King Kenkel's Krampus, will happen with his executive order that he gave last Thursday, and I'll read it to you. It's what Pam Bondi will be heading this task force to identify and end unlawful anti-Christian policies within federal agencies, citing examples like discrimination against Christian Foreign Service officers or pro-life protesters. Domestic terrorism focus, a significant December 2025 directive from Bondi directed federal law enforcement, FBI, etc., to prioritize investigating and countering anti-American sentiments, including anti-Christianity, radical gender ideology, and opposition to mass migration, linking them to domestic terrorism concerns and weaponization of government. Bondi framed these efforts as ending the anti-Christian weaponization of government under the Biden administration, claiming Christians were unfairly targeted while anti-Christian vandalism was ignored. Okay, so what is going on with this is it's going to prevent people like me and you from protesting. Will it prevent us from protesting? Will this initiative, this executive order, actually affect, all the people who have come together for like Indivisible and all these groups to help people like us get out and protest and, just to push back against the regime. So what I want to ask is, how will this affect us? Will it make people stay home? Will it make people more afraid, like people like me who make videos, and news people, independent news people? Will it make people more afraid to speak out? I started with the tarot, so I'll just go with these. So the first card that jumped out was the Seven of Coins. So I think they're going to threaten the money organizations. This came out, the Seven of Wands is crossing. So there's going to be pushback for it. So will this new initiative by Bondi with the executive order, how is this going to affect pushback against Krampus and the Blemmies? The Six of Wands is at the base of the reading. How will this affect us trying to push back on Blemmyism? I'm sorry for all these words, but we're talking about our dictator in charge and this regime. Watch my previous videos when I, started coining these terms. The King of Wands is in the current situation. So how will this affect us who try to push back against the regime? King of Swords, a prosecutor. How will this affect us? Will it make people refrain from pushback? The Hermit, it might send people into the shadows. Maybe we'll have to do more underground things. Let's see what else the cards can tell me something more about this executive order going through. Will there be pushback on it? I have the Four of Cups, so I don't think we're going to like when this happens. Show me more what will happen to protests and pushback against the regime. The Knight of Coins, it's very slow moving. The Three of Cups, so there's going to still be people coming together. You can rest assured on that. And the Three of Wands is the outcome card. So the plans are being put into action against people already. I wanted to take out 3 oracle cards from the Zammer Twins Oracle. So show me this Pam Blondie. Omniscience. It's a beautiful card there. Omniscience. So show me this Pam Blondie executive order, basically going against Americans' right to free speech. The Rebus. And I don't know these cards so well, so I have to let it soak in a little of what these mean to me. And then we have the Fawn. Little pan sort of creature there. Let's go down to the table. Okay, so the oracle cards really are talking about us and our values, I think, because we have Omniscience, which is sort of like the Sun card. This is the Sun King. So it's like our highest ideals, living up to it, positivity, and things being very much out in the open. And then we have the Rebus, which is really a balance card, like a temperance card or justice. It seems both sides, the masculine, the feminine. And again, having high ideals for all people, for equality. And then the Fawn is sort of, it's a pan figure, but he's a very gentle spirit. He's this earth spirit and playing this instrument. So perhaps it's talking about pulling back a little bit, or being, maybe using our words less harshly, speaking quietly amongst ourselves. So that's the energy I'm getting, like sticking to your values and still fighting for what you believe is right. But we might have to gather or speak to each other a little more in the shadows, unfortunately. But that's what authoritarianism is, folks. Now, for us, we have the Seven of Coins. So we're looking at what's been happening this entire year, this 11 months. And we definitely don't like what's happened to our country. And we know that we can't give up. We know that we still have to move forward. We still have to plant the seeds for growth. We still have to tend to our nation and to our people. And what's crossing us here is this Seven of Wands. So a lot of us might feel weary of the battle. And this is telling me it's going to get more difficult to fight, because they're going to be throwing people in jail. And I don't see it. The feeling I'm getting here is that it's not so much you or me, although it could lead to that because of AI, but I really feel this is more against the organizations. That's what I'm getting from this as well. The organizations that, the Act Blue, the places we donate to hold up our values, to have movements that go against the regime. So I think it's more about those groups the activist groups that they're going to go after. They're going to go after their money, I think. That's how they're going to start with this. And then holding us together here is our values again. The Six of Wands. We want justice. We want fairness, equality for all. And we're super passionate. So I don't think you're going to see many of us giving up. We're just going to have to proceed in a new way, make new plans of how we're going to do these things. In the current situation, we have the King of Wands. Again, this is a passionate king. This is someone who really fights for the rights of others and is very creative too in the way that they do it. So I feel this is many of us having to be creative in how we go about and putting out our messages, but not backing down. I do see there's going to be more lawsuits against this. So I also think it could be them going after the lawyers more. So we have to donate to those people like Mark Elias and things like that to help them, if you have any money, to donate, to help those people who are really doing the court battles for us. But unfortunately, we're going to have to go through a time of pulling back a little bit where we're not pulling back our passion. We're just going to have to review of how we go about this. It's going to have to be more clandestine with the Hermit card. So it's like going inward, reevaluating. How do we move forward with this, with these unlawful laws trying to be put in place? Because, it's an executive order. It's not a law. So here we are feeling really, I feel like in the next 4 months, because this is a 4, we're going to be feeling really not happy in what's happening and how we're going to be thwarted in our speech, in our language, in the ways we have to tone down our rhetoric. We're not going to be happy with this. And this is going to be slow moving. So it's sort of this push and pull. We're going to have to wait for the courts to go against these unlawful orders, basically. And we do have a sticking together, working as a group, holding each other up in this time, giving encouragement where we can, and also financially supporting them. But this is an emotional card, so I really think it's people coming and working together in local communities that's going to have to catch fire for us. But this is a slow-moving force going on here. It's going to take a while. We're not happy with it. But I feel like at the end of the day, when we're going to review with the Hermit, and we'll be planning new ways to connect and to bring people together, no matter how long it takes, because this is our country, and we can't have them thwarting the United States, the American people. I wanted to also ask on something else, so I'm going to reshuffle these. So the other thing I wanted to ask about was last week, Al Green put out Representative Al Green put out the charge for impeachment against Krampus. So 23 Democrats voted against impeachment. So I'd like to know what's going on with them. I mean, they put out this, a very weak, in my eyes, very weak position that basically is saying you can't you know, it hasn't worked. We're never going to get the votes right, so we're not going to bother with it. My view is we always have to put that out there. He does all these illegal things. He's ruining the country. The house is on fire. Like, any way we can bring any kind of, you know, political harm to him, I think it needs to be done. So show me these 23 Democrats, and 2 were from New York. I'm very disappointed, but it's not surprising because Tom Suozzi was one of them, and I've grown up around that man in politics, and I never liked him. He always seems like a real he's very conservative. I don't know why he's a Democrat, because he's one of those Joe Manchin sort of people. So show me the Democrats. Actually, let me start with the Oracle card again. And I did shuffle these, so just so you know. I put it on pause and I reshuffled. Show me the Democrats, the 23 Democrats. What, can you tell me anything, Spirit, about what's going on with them? Why? I want to know why they are, why didn't they vote for impeachment? We have the Ruby Queen came out. That's a pretty card. The Ruby Queen, Mercurius. That's kind of, it's a Mercury card, but look, she chopped off that. So these are like Greek stories. The Ruby Queen, I'm not sure who that is. And then we have the Sentry. So the guarding, they're guarding something. Also, Eugene Vindman, he went into Congress to stop Trump. Like, why did he even not go for impeachment? 5 of coins. Okay, so they're feeling left out in the cold. Like, grow a spine, will you, people? 7 of coins again. The money. Oh, it's all about the money with these people. So we really have to get into, really, when we're starting to, like when candidates are coming around trying to say that they want to be reelected or elected, we have to really vet them about, are you going to take AIPAC money? That's all there is to it. The Page of Coins, oh God, it's all about the money to them. It's all about the money. Wow, that's really kind of surprising to me. Here's the Emperor card. So something about him. The 10 of Swords, maybe they see that the end is almost near for him. They see the greed, though. The 4 of Coins, they see the greed in him. Why did these Dems not go for impeachment? We have the Knight of Cups. The Sun came out here, the Sun card, and another one. They all flew out. And the 10 of Wands, so feeling burdened. Well, then why are you in public office when you're not doing your job? And what's the final outcome for the Dems? Why did they do this, these Democrats? Trying to move away from troubled water. I think they don't want to be held accountable. Let's go down to the table. Guys, this reading is really disturbing to me. It's very disappointing because it's politics as usual going on here. I read the meaning of these cards, and this card is really all about wealth. Wealth. The same with this one. Actually, I wanted to read Mercurius to you. Let me just get the light in here. So the upright, well, the meaning of this card is taking violent or extreme measure, a thief or a trickster, a psychopath, depraved subconscious thoughts, maniacal tendencies, becoming a victim of crime. So, yeah, there's sort of this, I think they didn't want to be called out by Trump if they started this action against him. They're afraid of him. So they like their money, their power, where they're at now. They felt like doing this is going to cause more harm to them. And this, I love this card because this is a guard who's falling asleep. So this is falling asleep when you're supposed to be on guard. You're supposed to be the ones that defend it and protect us. So this is really disturbing to me. We have them here, you know, they don't want to be left out in the cold. They don't want to lose their money. This is a wealth card. This is a wanting to be in power and being ousted. So they don't want to, I think it is, they don't want to come under the radar of Donald Trump, and he would see everyone who voted for this. So in some way, they're trying to save their own butts here. Then we have, so that's them in a nutshell. What's crossing them again is reaping what they sowed. They got into power, they have this wealth, they have this prestige, and they want to stay there. So how is that going to help them stay there when we all are not going to vote for them? But I bet most of them aren't up for re-election. I don't know. But the Page of Cups is here. And again, this is about what they're following. They're following the coin. You know, they're following their own pockets, what they need, what's good for them, and not what's good for others. And I think they're really afraid of the emperor. They're afraid of, you know, the diabolical one. He's probably made lots of threats, but they're afraid, I think, really to be seen, to have the spotlight be put on them in any way, going against him. So this was just easier for them. Instead of taking a stand, like we all know, he's not going to get impeached, but they could bring it up. Perhaps there was a chance, but they didn't want to go that route. And then we have the Ten of Swords. So the overarching energy here is they're afraid of the calamity that's going to come down on them if they do it. They're afraid of Krampus. They're in such fear and anxiety. You should get out of office, and if they don't, they need to be elected out. And this is them, their deep greed, and trying to hang on to whatever they've gotten so far. So they really just didn't want to rock the boat. Speaking of boats, the Knight of Coins is riding in. So this is the deceptive knight, the one that tells a good story. And I think they told a good story in trying to get into their positions that they're in. And they're going to have to, you know, keep lying to us. But just remember, this card in its worst form is a liar. Then we have the Sun. So the environment around them is not good because we all see now. We all see who they voted for. And it's going to put a tremendous burden on them with the Ten of Wands. So you brought this on yourself. And another boat here, moving away from troubled water. So their whole energy regarding this is they didn't want to get in trouble. They want to stay out of trouble is basically what this card says to me. So shame on them. Really shame on them. How despicable you all of them are in doing that, in not helping the American people. At least give us hope. Let us see the impeachment happen. It would have given all of us hope, and they've let us down. But the sun is shining on them. We know exactly who they are. We know who's for us now and who's against us. And these three should also be outed, and they need to be burdened by all of us. So call your Congress people, call everyone. We need to make our rage heard, okay? We need to let them know. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? Whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry for that bad news, but it's just despicable. Please give me a like if you like the reading. Think of subscribing if you haven't, and hype the video. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.